You've arrived home or wherever you're staying from the surgery, and now you've got about 2 weeks to recover there before you go back to the hospital to meet the surgeon again, get some more blood tests done, and see how things are going. Let me give you some insights on what that experience might be like, and ideally some things that might help you manage what you're going to be going through. One of the things they ask you about early on is to try to find a place you're going to be staying that doesn't have a lot of stairs, or doesn't ideally have any stairs that you have to take. And if you're going to be sleeping somewhere, it should be on the first floor. Fortunately, I was able to sleep in a bedroom on the first floor. That was great. There were some steps I had to get up to get into the house. Care person helps you do that very slowly, very cautiously. You're holding yourself in a little bit of pain. You're really just focusing for those 2 weeks on managing that pain, drinking lots of water, resting as much as possible just in the hospital, but trying to be a little more mobile and self-sufficient, trying to walk around a little more and more every day. One of the things that you want to be concerned about is nausea. I remember telling the nurse before the surgery that I had had one other major surgery done, and for a day and a half after that, I was vomiting constantly. She says, "Oh, we'll make sure we monitor the medicines that we're going to be getting in your IVs as it happened." And I reminded them when I left the hospital, and the nurse said, "Oh, you can't be vomiting. That's one thing you can't do. I will get you some pills with all the medication you'll take home. And if you even begin to feel nauseous, you make sure you take one immediately, and it will stop that." You'll be given a huge list of medications designed for pain management. There'll be a variety of those for gas, for trying to promote a bowel movement, and then nausea potentially. Your care person is supposed to help you with those medications. You're given an actual schedule of what should be taken every so many hours, and times to be tapering things down. They'll give you a really strong pain medication that you try not to use unless you actually need to. You're making sure you're drinking tons of water as much as possible, and there will be, unfortunately, constant bouts of pain. They did recommend that if I'm starting to feel pain, don't worry about, I've got 15 minutes before I can take this. Go ahead and stay ahead of the medicine. It's easier to do that than to try to catch up with it. It's harder to stop that pain once it starts than it is to keep it managed. I had a couple of bouts of pretty severe pain. One was in the middle of the night. It was very difficult. I took the strongest medicine I could, and it takes about a half hour or so to kick in. I was able to sleep through the night. You will not have ab muscles, so you will not be able to sit up or lay down without the help of your care person. Even with that rolling technique, eventually you'll get to where you can do it yourself, but it takes a little bit. Have somebody help you, even if it's several days. Have someone arm to hold onto as you kind of do your maneuver and roll in or out of something. You don't want to upset that area. Your ab muscles have been cut, and they will take some time to reconnect and strengthen. Another thing that you want to think about is trying to increase your walking every day, even if it's just in the house. Make sure you're not taking stairs for a few days if you can avoid it. And if you do actually get help and go very slowly, it wasn't for a few days I was able to go outside. There were some steps that I had to get down or go outside. And eventually I was able to do that. But just try to increase how much you walk around as much as possible without it being too painful. You want to shower daily. Remember, you've got that binder on, and you'll take that off when you shower, and hopefully have that stool and maybe a grip in your shower. Have a care person help you if you're not able to. Fortunately, I was able to shower myself very slowly and cautiously. You'll notice those incisions, they have stitches and glue. That glue slowly goes away. They give you a special soap that you'll shower with, and you're really just dabbing that with the soap and getting the rag wet and dabbing the soap off. And then the rest of your body, you should be able to shower very slowly, very cautiously. Ideally, you will have help with food and laundry. Again, unfortunately, my care person was really not the right choice. I had a very negative experience with my care person not really helping. I literally was making my own food and kind of do my own laundry 3-4 days after I just did it in McKinney. Fortunately, I had the foresight of getting some microwavable meals, so it wasn't that difficult to prepare that food for myself. I was able to get my brother and his wife to come down just a few days later from northern Kentucky down to Georgia to take over and be my care person, essentially. And the experience was much better after that. But for the first 2 weeks, you are just trying to take it easy and try to manage that pain and try to walk more and more every day, constantly drink water. Keep in mind, you're not to be bending down, picking things up. It should be obvious. It will not feel right to try to do so. So for that 2 weeks particularly, you're not going to be bending down. You're holding your stomach and you're slowly moving around and walking slowly. At the end of the 2 weeks, you're walking cautiously and a little bit slower than normal, but you're getting around decently for the most part. So hopefully your 2 weeks of recovery will go pretty smoothly. That is the worst of it. It does get better after that. You'll be going to the doctor for that 2-week appointment. They're doing some more blood draws and some tests. They're checking your levels again, and you'll meet with the surgeon. He has you lift up your shirt, pull up the binder, inspects the incisions. Mine looks really good. He did an excellent job at clean, straight cuts. At that 2-week point, a lot of the glue had sort of worn away. The tissues were clearly visible, and you could see some of the glue. I did have the laparoscopic surgery done, but they made the 2 incisions was the one big one. I think the traditional way of doing it can be one big large incision to do everything, if I'm not mistaken. He told me these will heal up very nicely. The big long one, that will probably not go away. I always have that, but the 2 smaller ones, in so many years, those might fade away to the point they might not really be noticeable, particularly if you start using some scar cream eventually once you're able to do that, which I didn't have a problem with. If anything, I kind of think it's kind of cool having scars sometimes. They tell a story. It's like a battle that you went through. It's a reminder of an experience that you had, and particularly one like this that sure has some struggle and pain involved, but ultimately is leading to a wonderful end. He also remarked that if I wanted to, I could quit wearing the binder after the 2 weeks. I did keep using it for a little bit after that. It felt more secure and safe, and I would take it off occasionally during that 2-week recovery period. Sometimes I'd just be laying on the couch and I would just take the binder off just to kind of air it out and get a little bit of relief. It felt a little better doing that. It's an idea to think about. So just take it easy and hopefully everything goes smoothly. So that's likely what you'll kind of be experiencing for this 2 weeks, is taking it easy, managing that pain, drinking lots and lots of water, and hopefully having someone to help you with getting up and down, potentially showering, laundry, and food. My next video, I'll go over week 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think is really what there's anything to talk about. After that, there's not too much change. I'll go week by week, what I experienced, what I was struggling with, what I was able to eventually do at that week mark, and anything that might have happened. Of course, again, everyone's experience is going to be different and heal at different rates and have different things. But hopefully that would be a bit insightful and helpful to you. Again, I wish you a speedy recovery, and it was great. And I hope you've enjoyed this content. And I want to invite you to add comments below and join in on the conversation. I'd love to engage with you in that. Also, if you know anybody who is going through this process or even just thinking about it, I think you'll share with them these videos. And if you've gone through that yourself, I hope you're inspired maybe to create your own content and get out there information about what it's like. Again, I thank you and hope this has been of help to you.